So baby, come light me up, and maybe I'll let you on it. A little bit dangerous, but baby, that's how I want it. A little less conversation and a little more touch my body. Cause I'm so into you, into you, into you. Hi guys! Trying to stay in one location for multiple episodes in a row challenge. Impossible. As you guys can see, I am not where I was last time and not where I was in my first couple podcast episodes. I am at my parents' place in New York right now. I just braided my hair. It's only been a week since I recorded the last one, but I literally just finished braiding my hair this morning. I'm turning 25, so I did silver throughout and then especially on the ends. So pretty happy with the results. This is the second time that I have, or maybe third time technically, that I've braided my own box braids before. I did it last year and that was pretty fun. But yeah, so just I'm gonna get into the swing of things with what I want to talk about next. I know I said in my previous podcast that I was gonna just like focus on kind of one group at a time, really take my time and almost do it like video essay style, but through a podcast. So yeah, I wrote down some like information about Jacob Collier and kind of like the way that I perceive him, the way that I cherish him as an artist and as a musician, as a scholar in his craft, to be honest. And so yeah, I'm just kind of gonna go through that, and this will be the Jacob Collier episode. Maybe next will be Ariana Grande, maybe next will be Hosier. I'd love to hear your thoughts, but you know, I feel like I didn't talk about Jacob at all in the last episode, which felt really weird because like I've been into him since 2017 and I haven't stopped, so it's been like 7-ish years. And yeah, I want to, I don't know, just like talk about him. So I have my notes here on my handy dandy laptop, which you guys already have seen the stickers of because I think I've gone through, no, you know what? I went through the stickers on my iPad, but not on my laptop because I wasn't able to lift it up. So I guess I'll go through them very quickly. This is Jacob Collier, literally. This is Squidward. I know the lighting is like really, really bad. Trust me, I'm working with my parents' office desk right now, so whatever. This is Squidward in that one scene where he's doing his like interpretive dance. This is a quote from Abstract, the song Abstract by Hosier. I believe it is, oh gosh, what is it? The memory hurts, but does me no harm. That's what it is. Your hand in my pocket. I will incite chaos is this little speech bubble here that is corpse husband. This is also corpse husband, corpse_husband right there. Yeah, I love how I kind of talked about some of these people already. This is that selfie of Tom Holland and Zendaya, the one that she took and like he posted or whatever, and it just, or maybe she did. I don't remember. No, I'm pretty sure he did, and the caption was like, my MJ. Anyways, love them. We've got trans rights or human rights down here. Water, which is how you say water in Philly. Water. If your feminism isn't intersectional, then I don't want it. Period. Who is calling the house phone? Do y'all hear this? Hold on, let me make sure nobody tried to call me. Okay, good. Somebody's trying to call the house phone right now, so if y'all hear that, hey, my bad. I don't even live here, so it's not for me. Anyways, the next one is Battle Scars. I don't know why first of all, I'm going out of order. I literally went all over the place, so let me make sure. Battle Scars. That is from Twilight. From Twilight Eclipse, the third one, where Jasper's talking about his time of being a Confederate soldier. Anyways. And how he was seduced by a vampire and turned by her, and then he like made a whole bunch of newborns and basically made like a newborn army. And yeah, he kind of like shows one of his scars and he goes, battle scars, to Bella. So music is the shorthand of emotion. I think that's pretty much my personality to a T. I love music and I love psychology, and psychology is all about emotion, and the mind. and that intersection right there is beautiful. It's everything that I care about. And then, of course, in the middle is a Bible verse, my favorite one, to be exact. Jeremiah 29:11, which is basically saying, like, don't worry. Don't worry about the future because it's in God's hands. You do the best that you can with the plan that you believe he gave you and with the purpose that you have on this earth, and just do your best. And the rest is whatever. To be specific, it's for I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you and not harm you. Plans to give you hope and a future. I used to sing a song in my teen gospel choir. That was literally, for I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you and not harm you. Plans to give. Anyways, yeah. There was Ariana Grande. Yeah. So those are my stickers on my laptop that I don't think I ever showed you guys. But now that I have shown you how much I love this man, he's everywhere I go. He's also on my iPad. I showed you guys. He's on my iPad. Love him. So, let's first talk about, I'm looking at my notes. This is when I first started liking Jacob. So I think it was, okay, well, you know what? I had to give a little backstory. I see on my notes. Words? Hello. I had to give a little backstory. You know how I am. So, it was 2012, let's say. Okay? This isn't Jacob Collier related specifically, but it's like, you know how there's like multiple degrees of separation from like Kevin Bacon? Like everybody has like certain degrees from Kevin Bacon. This is like 2 degrees removed from why I got into Jacob Collier, right? So it all starts with like enjoying harmony and where that came from. So if you guys are familiar with the movie Pitch Perfect that came out in 2012, I was like, okay, this is cool. What the heck is a cappella? Like, I had been singing since I was 6 years old in like my church's choirs and things like that. I learned how to sing. It's always been fascinating to me. I knew I was an alto, tried and true. That's just who I ended up being and how my voice ended up being. Which is funny because my mom is a soprano and my aunt on that same side has a pretty higher voice as well. So I must have got it from my dad's side. I don't know why Battle Scar's accent just came back out, but here we are. So yeah, I was watching Pitch Perfect, and I was like, cool. And then there's that one scene where Becca goes to take a shower, and she's singing Titanium by David Guetta, featuring Sia. And Chloe starts harmonizing with her in the shower. And I was like, oh, that's really cool. I've never felt this feeling before in my life that, like, that's something that, like, I could do. And by the time I was 10, I learned to play the flute. I then learned to play multiple instruments, and I really got an idea of, like, what instruments were certain voices in band arrangements and orchestral arrangements. Like, I was all about arranging and harmony and, like, where things fit, how things can sound harmonically. I had learned how to play the piano, so I was learning about music theory and, like, thirds and different chords and things like that. So, like, when 2012 came around, like, I was like, oh, I can do that with my voice. Got it. Thank you, Anna Kendrick and Brittany Snow, I think is her name. So yeah. That was wild. And I think the first song that I ever learned, hi, my life, wait, what is it? Why did I say like, hi? Yeah, that was wild. I said it like, hi, I'm Ryan, and my life is kind of crazy. But no, seriously, I think my first song that I ever harmonized to was Honeymoon Avenue by Ariana Grande, and I was maybe in 8th or 9th grade. That's a lie. It was not 8th or ninth grade. It was more like, it was literally middle school, and it was probably like the very next year. It was probably 2013, because I think that's when Yours Truly came out. And I was like, oh, first of all, Ariana Grande, ding ding ding, that's my girl, she can sing. And at that point she was like doing those YouTube video diaries and like using her loop thing, her loop machine, to like do harmonies with herself. And I was like, I want to be her, I want to be her, I can do that, I can do that. I remember I wanted a loop machine for my birthday for so long, and I never got it. I never got it. But it's okay. It's okay. I'm not salty about it. But I remember loving the song Honeymoon Avenue. And there were some friends of mine in my class in middle school who were singers and were sopranos. And I was like, hey, do you like Ariana Grande? They're like, yeah. I'm like, do you know the song Honeymoon Avenue? And they were like, yeah, like very fairly well. And I was like, okay, can you sing the melody right now? And I'll just figure out what happens. And I remember harmonizing with this one girl, Bridget. Hey, Bridget, if you're out there. It was really, really fun. And that's when I learned, like, oh, I could just do harmony on the fly. Like, it doesn't have to be super planned. Like, it's just, I can hear it in my head, and I have the theory learned behind it. Like, I kind of just can know what to do. So after, oh my gosh, almost 2 decades now. I'm almost 25. And I said I started singing when I was 6. So after almost 2 decades of learning how to sing, I really think that I've, like, figured out the harmony vocal arrangement part of it. Not that I'm like the best singer in the world, y'all. I've never had a formal vocal lesson. Just a lot of choir rehearsals, both from church and from school and theater productions and all of that. But anyways, so yeah, I was really, really into harmonizing. I have been since 2012, and I just haven't stopped. And for those of you who have seen my TikToks, that's an understatement of like now how much I love to arrange random things and just play with the harmonies and see what happens. When I get back to my place, so when I'm done being in New York with my parents and traveling around a little bit, I really do hope to record me on this camera just like taking a stab at a song, and really showing you guys like the process and how I make these vocal harmony stacking TikToks. The song I'm thinking about just doing off the cuff is Royals by Lorde. I feel like that's an easy one that I could like loop the chorus of or something and just keep adding to it. And it's like properly in my register too, so it won't be like super stressful to like, because like when you're doing it off the cuff, you're doing it because it's spontaneous, because the song's been stuck in your head, and now you realize, oh, you can add some more layers to it. But now that I'm like, okay, eventually I'm going to sit down and record, and I'm going to specifically record Royals by Lorde, it's like, I don't know, there's something about it where it's like being recorded. I don't know if it'll turn out the way that I want it to, and maybe I'll mess up a few times and get camera shy and like not be able to figure out the harmony in the ways that I usually quickly can. Because these things might take me, if I'm trying to be really complicated with it and add different layers and different stuff like that, it might take me like 30 minutes to an hour. One of them that I did that got almost like 500,000 views was Payphone. No, I think I'm lying. I think that one has 1 million. 1.5 actually million views. It's me doing Payphone by Maroon 5, and it literally took me 15 minutes to do it. I had one earbud in and BandLab, and I was doing my makeup as I was adding harmonies. I was so mad that was the one. Like, I didn't put any effort into it. That one took 2 seconds to do. But God forbid I do one where I take my time, even though it's still spontaneous. It takes about an hour for me to perfect it to the point that like I like it. And that just wah 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 wah. Like, what are we talking about? So yeah, I don't know. The algorithm be algorithming. But I digress. I was talking about harmony. I'm gonna keep it going. I extra knew that I was obsessed with harmony when I found out about pentatonics. And that was mostly through their Not their first Christmas album, because there's like a PT Xmas one, but I'm talking about is it called That's Christmas to Me, or is that just the name of that song on it? Hold on. That's Christmas to me. I've got this Christmas song in my heart. I got the candles glowing in the dark. That song is fire. I'm looking it up. I don't mean to just be singing out loud for no reason. Hold on. Yeah, That's Christmas to Me. Yes, it came out in 2015. So when that came out, I was like, and then I was like, oh, this is the greatest thing ever. And in the same year, they came out with their own secular stuff. And one of the songs on that one is called Light in the Hallway. Y'all, ooh, the harmonies are tight. Avi, the ex-bass guy, ooh. He was like one of the main, what's the word I'm looking for? Soloists in that one. And y'all know his bass lines are always so, they're just, so, yeah, I got really, really obsessed with pentatonics as well. And I was like, this is great. Nothing is ever going to be as cool as acapella. And I always wanted to be a part of an acapella group. I did audition to be a part of an acapella group when I was an undergrad, and they didn't want me. Mind you, there were no other black people on that bad boy, so it was giving something, for sure. But, anyways. I digress. I don't know what that noise was for. I don't know what that was for. But maybe it was for the racism. Maybe I was just soaking up the racism, and then anyways. So then I kind of started to just, like, get into the pentatonic stuff. I started doing choir at my school as well as just church. And then I would, like, take the arrangements home from my choir book and, like, do all of the harmonies. And that became a whole thing. I won't talk about some of the infamous things that circulated around the school, to the point that the principal, like, called me out on it. And wasn't like, you need to be seen in my office. Like, he was just like, oh, like, this thing went, like, viral throughout the school, and I realized that it's you singing in 12 different harmonies, and that's really cool. Also, what the heck? I was like, hey, I don't know. So yeah, I got, like, really, really into, like, harmonizing with myself in 2017. And I can owe that all to Jacob Collier. 100%. I didn't even think about, like, downloading GarageBand, because back then it was GarageBand. I was like, downloading GarageBand and recording myself? Who does that? But when I turned, like, 17, around 2017-ish, is when I figured out who Jacob was. And I'm pretty sure it was because I was watching a video by Paint. If y'all don't know Paint, his real name is John Cozart. He liked one of my TikToks before, and I literally... Anyways, my singing one, too. And it was one where, like, I, like, did one of his little... So, Paint, P-A-I-N-T, subscribe. Not me, no, doing the whole intro. Or outro? I can't remember. But, for all of you nerds out there, if you are familiar with it, he's the person who did all of those, like, acapella remixes of, like, Disney songs in different perspectives with himself, and he would put, like, 6 of himself on a screen and, like, do it all. No, he was awesome. And so I remember being in this house, and I think I queued up a YouTube video on the TV, and I was watching it that way, and I was like, this is so cool. You know, sometimes, like, of course, back then when you put stuff on the TV, it would just, like, autoplay without you, like, even getting to pick something next. Now you have the option to, like, screencast it to the TV and all that stuff. But anyways, I think it just, like, autoplayed to Jacob. Like, I had watched something by Paint, and I was like, wow, he's so cool. I want to harmonize with myself. This is so cool. But I was like, okay, fine, like, I can do that, but, like, whatever. Because, like, still, while there were times where his harmonies were pretty tight, maybe a little dissonant, he still gave very much, like, pentatonics, in the sense that, like, he did a melody, he might do two harmonies to that, like one higher, one lower, and then have like some sort of percussion-esque beatboxing, and like that's really like the vibe. I never really heard someone harmonize with themselves in such a way as Jacob Collier. And then, yeah, I was watching Paint and boom, boom, boom. I think it was Don't You Worry About a Thing, his YouTube video, where he was, no, I don't know if Don't You Worry About a Thing, or was Don't You Worry About a Thing or Fascinating Rhythm? It was either Fascinating Rhythm or Don't You Worry About a Thing that he put them both on YouTube, but one of those videos, I think it was Don't You Worry About a Thing, because that's Stevie Wonder, and I think that's how Quincy Jones found him and was like, be on my record label, and he eventually agreed. So I think it was Don't You Worry About a Thing is what I saw, and I was like, oh, not only is this man doing harmonies that I've never even heard with my ears before, like heard, period. I was like, I don't know how you do that. And then I was like, wait, he's playing every instrument I'm seeing on the screen, and he's singing every single thing, and there's like 20 of him on the screen. I don't know what's happening. And then I think it auto-played to like Flintstones, or maybe it was the other way around, I don't remember. And so Flintstones was crazy, and then I was like, whoa, this man's got a crazy ear, and his range, like his vocal range, and the amount of instruments he can play, I was like, oh, I've met a musical wizard. Like, YouTube showed me a musical wizard. Like, this is not Ariana Grande with her loop machine. This is not Pentatonics doing a cappella in maybe 4-part harmony with a beatboxer. This is intense. Like, for those choir nerds out there, it was like Eric Whitacre times 1,000. And trust me, Eric Whitacre knows and is friends with Jacob Collier and says the exact same stuff and goes, I don't understand how he does what he does. That creature fascinates me. I can't even, like, and I wish I was exaggerating. I feel like when I talk to people about Jacob, they're like, yeah, whatever, he's cool. I'm like, no, you don't understand. Like, some of the finest musicians of our time have said on record that Jacob Collier is the Mozart of our generation. He is a musical genius, and he hates being called a musical genius, but it is true. And, like, I'm not even trying to sound pretentious when I say that. He's just, like, it's so, I don't know. But yeah, and, like, the time that I found him, it was actually between his first debut album, which I believe came out in 2016? Let me not be wrong. Hold on. It was his first album called In My Room, which was all recorded in his room with all of his instruments. Fascinating. Love it so much. Let me just make sure I got the year right. 2016, right. And he won 2 Grammys from his first album. One was for his rendition of You and I, which is insane. And also for Flintstones, which I saw on YouTube about a year or 2 later than when it came out. Yes, he won 2 Grammys for that. Then he won another Grammy. I know he has 4 right now. Yeah. So then he did this whole project after In My Room, which is called Jesse. It's, you say it like Jesse, but it's DJESSE. And Jesse, as a concept, is supposed to represent, like, this, basically your inner child. That's how I conceptualize it. He kind of leaves it up for your interpretation, but I really do think that's, like, what it encapsulates. And he has 4 different volumes of the Jesse album, which took him about 6 years to make, because Jesse Volume 1 came out in 2018 and Jesse Volume 4 came out this year in 2024. It took him quite a while, and he organized it in certain ways. So, like, Jesse Volume 1 is orchestral, at heart. Like, he literally has a full orchestra doing all this stuff. And yeah, it's insane. It's insane. The second volume came out a year later in 2019. And there's a lot of like acapella. Obviously, he's all about acapella. Not a whole lot of acapella, actually, now I'm thinking about it, but he did win a Grammy for his acapella version of Moon River, which literally gets me through everything in life. There was one time I was so anxious that I thought I was going to throw up, and I just put Moon River on a loop until I could basically stand up and not yak. And it got me through a lot. But that was just nervousness. Like, it wasn't because I had a stomach bug or I was sick. So that was really cool. But yeah, I love Volume 2. It's very folksy, like very, very folksy. There's like some interesting rock elements. There's some African stuff in there. Like, every volume has like a common theme, but he still weaves so many different cultures and genres and styles into each volume. It's very interesting. Like, I'm kind of generalizing here, but like, yeah. Volume 3 gives very much like that nighttime EDM kind of vibe. It really, really does. And by the end of it, it gets like a little late night R&B vibes. Like, now you're home, but like you don't really want to go home because you were out in the club. And then you're kind of getting into that part of the night where like you're sobering up, you're kind of solemn, you're starting to go to sleep. And then it just wakes you the heck up with Jesse Volume 4. Which is just, I think Jesse Volume 4 is one of the more poppy ones. But also, obviously, there's going to be some straight up acapella things. There's going to be like some Indian Hindu influences. There's like almost this little screamo element that he does at one point. It's also giving EDM. He does like an Eric Whitacre-esque choral song at the end that makes me cry every time. The first time I heard Jesse Volume 4, I was convulsing because I was sobbing so hard. And it's because by the end of the album, he basically incorporates everything that he's done in the past 6 years, and also stuff from his first album In My Room that's not even connected to Jesse. Like, he weaves so many things, and he just paints this picture of like his musical journey of being creative. And he like, because Jesse as a concept is about just letting yourself be free, connecting with your inner child, just like letting yourself explore the world of music and letting yourself kind of like emote and express yourself in a way that is very non-judgmental. Hey, there's a siren. Hey, sorry, hold on. You express yourself in a way that's just like non-judgmental. Like, you have a safe space to just be yourself and let yourself flourish and try new things and just explore and see what happens, and be okay with failing, be okay with succeeding, be okay with doing too much, being okay with doing too little, whatever. It's really, really cool. There's a song that's entitled Jesse that is from Jesse Volume 1, towards the beginning of the whole album, volume, if you will. That really just talks about what and who Jesse is. It says, Jesse has a sky like a merry-go-round, making circles in a mind made of tapestry. And the world outside never seems to make a sound, so he lives inside his world full of majesty. Jesse closed his eyes and sees the rain rise up from the deep blue waters of infinity. He said, I wish I knew the reason for the fire in my heart, but I can't seem to tell you why it burns for me. Oh, Jesse, won't you come back home? I said, Jesse, you've been silent for your whole life. How I wish I knew the world burning in your heart. And I've been listening to the words and the kookaburra birds, but I can't see the fire you've been singing of. And he said, this is Jesse saying, the moon's so high and the water's so wide, and you're never going to find what you're searching for. But deep inside you, there's a world with a merry-go-round like a sky, such a fire you never felt before. "Oh, Jesse, won't you come back home?" multiple times, and then by the end of it, he's saying, "Oh, Jesse, set me free, set me free, set me free. Oh, Jesse, set me free. Let me be what you can be." Right? So it's like this concept of Jesse is like this inner self that is already at this point of reaching self-actualization, is free to be itself, is free to just, yeah, to just be and let that be okay, you know? And it's like we have our own inner Jessies. And in a way, it feels like an inner child where there's like that innocence, there's that exploration, there's that excitement, there's that desire to just explore the world and be whoever you can be. And as we get older, I feel like sometimes we lose that, because we learn about the world and how it works and the systems and the context in which in what we live in nope, in which we live in. And it's just really beautiful to, I don't know, name this 4-volume work of art Jesse, because that's exactly what it feels like. He took 4 volumes and was like, this is the whole world. And it really is. Like, he encapsulates so many different genres and cultures. I can't even, the only genre I don't think he fully gets into is maybe country. But if you count like folksy bluegrass, then like he kind of hit it. Like he really, I mean, he raps, he does the whole thing. So yeah, I just, I don't know. I'd love to hear what his own interpretation of Jesse really is now that he's finished all 4 volumes and is like done with this Jesse era. I'd love to get his thoughts about it. Just a little more. I remember reading an interview he did with Keenan Linsdale. I don't know if I'm saying his name correctly, but do y'all remember the movie Love, Simon? Remember when Simon falls in love with that black guy or that black kid? That's Keenan. And Keenan actually has his own music, which I really love, like a lot. And he was able to kind of like do like a, you know how they do those like actors on actors interviews? It felt like a musician on musician interview. And they just kind of talked about like what Jesse as a concept means and how they both explore just letting themselves be themselves and trying out new things, different colors, different phrases, different shapes, different sizes, in the studio and just, you know, in wherever they're recording, because he always records in his room, so it's not really a studio, but it's a whole thing. And I don't know, it's really, really beautiful. And the way that Jacob always talks about the way he does stuff. And mind you, I not only listen and watch a lot of his interviews with other people, especially as he was promoting Volume 4. That was such a great time for me, because I was like, I don't know, I think it was like January, because no, it was like mid-January to late February. It was like his press era for Volume 4, and I was like eating it up. But throughout all the times that he's, you know, released certain things, there are certain songs, especially when they're singles or something, where he'll do what's called a Logic Pro session, because he mixes and masters all of his songs in the software called Logic Pro. And he will stream on YouTube, and then it'll be like, you know, a watchable VOD, basically, where he shows us like the Logic Pro session and like each little line, each little phrasing, and why he mixed it and mastered it that way, and how many voices are layering over here, and all these little things. And he really just like brings us into his world, and the way he always talks about music and the way that he does music is just, he's like literally an artist. Like, I know when people are like, oh, like, you're a musical artist, I mean like he's an artist. Like, he talks about music and talks about the way that he chooses to phrase certain things and arrange certain things like a sculptor who makes me think of that episode of SpongeBob where we're just teaching SpongeBob like how to like be an artist, and SpongeBob is just like, okay, boom, and it's like the most beautiful sculpture you've ever seen in your life. It's like Jacob carefully just kind of like uses that little pick hammer thing and just chisels his way out. But it's almost like, it feels almost like the finished work is already there. And in a way, he's already got so many like childlike wonder. Like he's just throwing paint on a canvas. He's throwing paint on a canvas, just seeing what sticks. And when it's all too much, then he slightly chisels away and refines it. Might add a little more back if he can, but slightly chisels away until it's like this beautiful piece of work that he's proud of. And then like in the way that he's so careful about all of it, he really loves and takes care of what he does. And he's so particular, and like he's got it down to a science too. Like he'll talk about like different semitones and microtones. He'll do microtonal stuff all day if you get him to. He loves talking about microtones. He loves talking about polyrhythms. He likes talking about negative harmony. He loves talking about just intonation, which is huge, because when you think about how a lot of notes, are tuned based off of what you hear on a piano, and I won't go into the whole thing of how he talks about it, but you should look up Jacob Collier just intonation. It's really, really fun. But like if you were to take a chord and let's say like that's how the 1-3-5, so a triad 1-3-5, the third is going to sound a certain way based off of 1 and 5, but if you still play that third and change the notes around it, the third may need to be lifted up a little higher. Like it actually may sound a little sharp, even on a piano, because like every note can't be perfectly tuned to the chord that's playing, unless you want to go in and adjust the strings every time you play a chord on the piano. But our voices can do that. And now that I like know about that, there have been so many times where like, especially I just did a choir concert this past weekend. There were times where I was like, wow, if we could just fine tune this, because there's someone's just a little flat. Like, yes, it is the note. You are singing the correct note. It's just a little flat. And like when something is perfectly harmonized, I don't know if you've ever heard this, especially when it's like in 3-part harmony. If it's perfectly done and you're like in a space where you can hear it, you can hear the over, or, and undertones. And those are like notes that are a part of the chord, like the rest of the chord, if you're in 3-part harmony, like the rest of it. But no one's singing it. It's just like a frequency. Like when I tell you this stuff is physics and math, it is. And I think that Jacob has like the perfect balance between like literally being a physicist and also just like knowing the physics and theory so well that he can just all over. And that's what he does. He just has fun. He has fun, but he's so good at having fun. Because he just like, he just knows. And like psychological terms, how there's like the id, the ego, and the superego, and the id is just like the child that's just like, I want to go do that. And the superego is like, now you should do this thing because that's the correct thing to do. It's like he always has those two in tandem, and they're always working perfectly together. It's like insane. I don't know how he does it. But yeah, and I don't know. There are still so many times where I listen to a lot of his songs, like, what was I gonna say? Oh my god, my train of thought is like gone. It flew out the window. Oh, where like, if I listen to some of his stuff like in certain contexts, not like, oh, if I'm sad, I mean like if I'm in the car, or if I have really good headphones on, or if I'm just playing it out loud on my phone, on my iPad, with a speaker in the shower, I like hear things differently. And there will be notes that I've never heard, or little embellishments I've never heard and never really paid attention to. It's like, that's what's so fun about it too, is that like, even though he's kind of throwing paint all over the place and he kind of chisels it down to still be this very, overwhelming piece sometimes, there's a lot of stuff going on. The fun part is going back and listening and going, Oh my god, especially after watching a Logic Pro session of the song and going, oh my god, we picked this thing apart and now I literally can't unhear that thing that he focused on in the Logic Pro session. There it is. I never would have peeped that or noticed that had he not said anything. And it's really, really cool, and I love like going through and just like rediscovering or discovering new things that I'd never heard before, and it makes me feel a different way each time that I listen to a lot of his music. Um, yeah, I don't know, man. I could really go through a whole like musical analysis, but the one thing I will say is that Jesse also it has it's also a motif. Um, the motif is bing boom boom, and so if you listen to almost any song in the 4 volumes of the Jesse album, you will hear that somewhere. It may not be in the same key. It usually is actually, but bing boom boom. Sometimes it's bing boom boom. But yeah, you'll almost always hear it, which is really, really fun, and I really enjoy that. So yeah, I don't know. Um, I don't want to like make this super, super long, so I'll stop it here. But I really, really love Jacob as a musician and also just like as a person. Like he is so intelligent and so philosophical in nature. I think that's why I honestly got super, super into Hosier too, because like I was already introduced to Jacob and just like how emotionally intelligent he is, how articulate he is about expressing what certain concepts mean and the physics and the emotion behind everything. Like he gets it all. He really, really does. And Hosier's lyrics kind of like give a similar, not to say that like Jacob is a good lyricist, because I don't, hey, I can't even, I don't know. But when it comes to Hosier, like the way that the both of them in interviews talk about their music and are able to philosophize with the interviewer and just like talk about things in certain ways, it's so uplifting and enriching and so powerful to hear them talk about their music. It's like they really, really, really care, and it's really, really great. Um, and Jacob himself is just like the wacky. Like if you look up a picture of Jacob Collier, you're just gonna see like Crocs. First of all, crazy color Crocs. You're gonna see pants that are probably puffy, like jogger-esque, almost like pants that Aladdin would wear in various colors with a weird pattern. Then he's gonna have a top on that's loose fitting and may also be really colorful and not have the same pattern as anything else on his body. And then his hair is usually like kind of coiffed up and like in a spike like this. Okay, he is a quirky guy, um, and he's fantastic, and I love him to pieces. And that is the most parasocial time that's the most parasocial thing that I'll say. But yeah, it's just God. He's such a joy and delight to like listen to, not like vocally, but just like not like listen to his songs. I mean like listen to him talk as well. I've been to 2 of his concerts, and they've been my favorite concerts, and I've been to some concerts. He is just insane. Like I don't know how he does what he does, and he's trained like first and foremost I would say in jazz. Like he is an improv person, so like even when you think you know how the song is gonna go because you listen to it 10,000 times, he's gonna do the song differently, and it's like so cool. So yeah, I strongly encourage you guys to just like take a listen. I'm gonna probably put my Spotify playlist below if I can. I don't know if I'm at the point where I have enough followers where I can like put a link below in my description and like they'll let me. But if it doesn't, I'm just gonna say right now, my Spotify is, child, what is my Spotify? What is it called? Is it called shaymcjay? Let's look. Child, let's look together. Girl, that's not what I care about. I want the profile. Oh yeah, it's just shaymcjay. Literally shaymcjay. If you look up shaymcjay on Spotify, you can see all of my playlists. I strongly encourage you guys to go to Need a Jacobean Car Ride, like Jacob Collier, but like Jacobean. And it's every song that I think is the most easily digestible and just really fun to listen to. Like if you're in the car with somebody and you still want to like enjoy the ride and just like vibe and not have to like think too hard about like what you're listening to, you can still listen to these and they're like fun. Like they're fun to listen to. Um and like this isn't even I mean, I'll just put him on shuffle as an artist. Like I said, you know, the way that I listen to people, I'll put him on shuffle as an artist and just enjoy. But if I like have a car full of people or somebody in the car with me and I just need to listen to him because I'm feeling Jacobean that day, I'll put this playlist on and just put it on shuffle. I would strongly encourage you guys to, before you even like get into all of his acapella stuff, get into It Don't Matter featuring JoJo, okay? That one is so much fun and it's perfect. Like it's upbeat, it's poppy, it's something you can just jam along to without being like, whoa, what's this guy doing? Even though like he is still insane in it. Running Out of Love featuring Tori Kelly is really good. Oh yeah, and the collaborations. He collaborates with everybody. I didn't even say that. He has collaborated with full blown orchestras for a full album volume. He's collaborated with JoJo, Tori Kelly, Kirk Franklin, T-Pain, Ty Dolla $ign, SZA, by the way. If you guys don't know this, y'all know Good Days by SZA. Yeah, Good Days. He produced that. If you listen to the chorus and where the person goes, good days, always on my mind, always on my mind, that is Jacob Collier's voice. That's him. He's also done a decent amount of work with, who am I thinking of that I can't say right now? What is his name? Daniel Caesar. He produced a few songs with Daniel Caesar, and they have a song together on one of his volumes. John Legend, Yubba, like, he's done some stuff, okay? Lizzie McAlpine, like, multiple times. Yeah, just 100%, if you look through this playlist, I would definitely say listen to, first and foremost, It Don't Matter. You can listen to All I Need, because I think that one even got some radio time. Like, it was so popular. I think that one won a Grammy as well. If I'm correct. Am I correct? Or maybe it was just He Won't Hold You. He has been nominated for Album of the Year, but I think people were upset with that because they didn't know who he was. But I digress. Cinnamon Crush is a good one. Yeah, okay, I'll leave y'all with that. I feel like if I could suggest one from like each album, I'll say listen to Savior or Flintstones from In My Room. This is all in the Need a Jacobean Car Ride playlist. Listen to It Don't Matter. Listen to All I Need or Running Out of Love. And then listen to Cinnamon Crush. And Mi Corazon. That's about 2 from each album because I couldn't help myself. And like I said, there's other things that he's produced that's on here. He's done a lot of covers. Really, really great. So, yeah, I would just encourage you guys to just, like, listen. Hear him out. You know, I listed some of the more tame things that he's done, and they still aren't tame. And then kind of, you know, if you go through the rest of this, playlist that I made, just go through it with an open mind, you know, just be excited to explore. Have the soul of Jessie, you know, that inner childlike wonder of just letting things happen and seeing where something takes you. having that sense of openness and willingness to just accept and be available, I think is really, really important, because sometimes I get so wrapped up in his harmonies too, where I'm just like, oh, it's like he's so in tune with like how a chord is going to make someone feel, that like he chooses that chord purposefully, and it's just so cool. And I've never felt so much emotion. I'm not saying like sadness, I mean just like emotions, period, listening to what he does. It's so cool. Um, yeah. And if you want to like specifically listen to some of his acapella stuff, because I started talking about how much I love harmony and acapella and how he really, really amplified that, I'll just say still listen to Flintstones. You can listen to Home Is, which is arranged by him but sung by other people. Moon River, which he did win a Grammy for. I'm trying to think of another specifically. Bridge Over Troubled Water, okay? It's gonna bless you. It's gonna bless you, okay? I've never heard someone sing like Tori Kelly sang at the end of that song, okay? I can't even enter into it. But yeah, that's what I'll leave you with, is just a suggestion to just listen to some of his stuff. And it's not because it's like I need you to. I just know that it'll be good for your soul. You know? And if you aren't classically trained, musically trained, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Because even though people will call him like a musical genius or like a musician's musician, like the way he's doing things and the way he arranges things purposefully is going to make you feel something. And sometimes I pay so much attention to like how it makes me feel that I miss the lyrics, and then I go back to the lyrics and I'm like, oh, he kind of ate. So yeah, just enjoy. Listen to his stuff multiple times. Do what you gotta do. But yeah, he's fantastic. And something that I'll leave you with this, something that he has said, not even about his music, but just like about life, from an interview, was, don't try to understand it, follow it. And I just thought that was beautiful. So that is the suggestion I have for you all for life in general, for exploring new music, period, for exploring new adventures in your life, and for exploring his music. And another thing he said is, my job is to make space for who I am. So I hope that, which is beautiful, right? I hope that through maybe listening to some of his music, you can learn more about what that means, explore who you are, and learn how to, and discover how to make space for who you are truly at your core. And yeah, I don't know, like just enjoy it. And yeah, maybe next podcast I'll probably talk about Hosier or Ariana Grande. And I hope to have a video out soon about specifically how I do TikTok harmony videos. And I'll talk to you guys in the next episode. Bye! So baby, come light me up, and maybe I'll let you on it. A little bit dangerous.